Okay, this is Brian with the Organization of Transparency and Merit. Why you should never need love. Or at least as a grown man, you should never need love. And also, perhaps, even as a grown woman, you should never need love. I think that as a grown man, if you need someone's love, particularly the need for the need for love from a woman, you will give into things you should not give into. You should want their love, but you should never need it. And I guess for me, female affection and love has kind of it doesn't have the meaning for me that it used to mean. And I guess because I'm not, I don't have the same drives that I did when I was younger, so I don't really care whether they're around me or not. And I think the same probably goes for when a woman gets older too. They really don't care. And that kind of maturity kind of gets there for some later, for some earlier, and it might be for me a little bit later of a bloomer. And so I remember when I was younger, I would obsess about women and when they would show up. I've been stood up a few times. I've also had women would show up late, and now when they do that, I get rid of them. I discard them, because if they're not going to respect my time, they're not going to be a good companion for me. And like I said, I can have fun all by myself. I mean, look, I want companionship, but I don't need it. I can do without it. You can get a good dog. You bring your face up to a dog, it'll lick it, give you affection. It won't probably satisfy your sexual desires, but it is better than the headache that many women will give you. So this is going to be a little bit of a short segment, but I just want to give my 2 cents in that on why you should never need love. You should never need love, and why as a grown adult you shouldn't. Now, as a child, of course, you need the love of your parents. You actually depend upon them for survival. But as an adult, things have to be a win-win situation. They can't be an I win, you lose situation. And sometimes if a woman is giving out sex, men will bend over backwards and actually end up getting really the short end of the stick. And it also works vice versa. There have been women who also get the short end of the stick. There are many reasons why, I think on average, why women get the short end of the stick and why men get the short end of the stick. And it all depends on the availability, like a nation's availability of females to males. In America, women have the power in certain age groups just due to the fact that there is a large male surplus. Now, in Russia and in Latin America, I believe there is a large female surplus. Also in many Asian countries, there is a large, perhaps a larger female surplus. So wherever the ratios, whosever gender or sex has the ratios in their favor, the more they can get away with because their options are more. And I think in this country, and I could absolutely be wrong, so this is just me talking off the cuff, is that men, basically there are more males to females, and there is a large male surplus. Therefore, we give in to things more than we would perhaps in other countries. I'd like to even look at a study like that to do men give in to women when there is, is there a different dynamic when there's the ratio of males to females? And I will be looking into that in the Organization of Transparency and Merit. But even still, I think that the smartest thing to do is to want affection and love from the opposite sex, garnering that you're a heterosexual. So I'm speaking to heterosexuals, and I'm particularly speaking to heterosexual males. This is something that has worked for me, is to want their love, but never, ever need it. And it's something that I have to sometimes remind myself again, because, I do get stars in my eyes and get that juvenile infatuation, although it is far less today than it's been in the past, of course, because, the sexual drive, at 50 years old, the sexual drive is not there, although I do wish I knew now what I know today. And so, again, this is just my personal perspective. Although I think that it would work for men in general, like I said, to want their love, but to never need it. As I said before, in my younger days, I would get infatuated with women, and maybe I would date women that were perhaps out of my league, and I would put up with things with them that today I would never tolerate, and I would just move on. But when I was younger, I didn't know any better, and I was not as emotionally stable as I am today. So age teaches you a few things. I still wish I had the health that I had at that age, the physical health, but my mental health, I would say, is better. I've gone through loss, so I do know that loss is pretty bad, particularly when you lose your parents. That is a big loss. But you're not going to, a significant other is not going to be your parent. You have to be an adult, and that there was a little bit of a time when I was looking for someone to be perhaps a replacement to my mother who had passed away. And I don't think that is fair to the person because they're not your parent, and they're going to disappoint you in ways your parents, or at least my parents, could never disappoint me, and they're not going to love you in the same way as your parents, or at least my mother. My father, on the other hand, I'll get into his story later. Men, I think, are naturally a little bit more selfish when it comes to rearing their children. I think particularly with their sons. That being said, and I don't want to go on and bloviate, and that's all I have to say about that for now. If you like this show, please subscribe. I'm on Spreaker right now, but this will later be uploaded to YouTube. So like and subscribe. I'll be on with Joe, I think maybe later on today. Definitely tomorrow we're going to go over the year's predictions for next year. So we're just going to say what we think is going to happen for next year in both entertainment, news, and the whatnot. And what surprises are ahead. We have a presidential election coming up, and who is going to make waves? That I think is going to be very interesting. So, yeah, I was just going to do a really short show, and I really do appreciate anyone for listening. I thank you for listening, and I would love you to go to our YouTube channel and like and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and have a very good day. And give me if you listen to this on Spreaker or you listen to this on YouTube, give me an opinion and tell me what you think. Make a comment below particularly on our YouTube channel. If you can make a comment below, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.